I had to carry all these, see all those rocks? That's 3.5 tons of rocks. 3.5 tons of rocks.
3.5 tons of rocks.
All I could do was get it delivered in a truck, you know? So I thought, why not try carrying them on the EUC? So I used the 16X, just carried one at a time, just carried one at a time. 4 trips, easy, done. When there was no one there, I actually managed to accelerate to like top speed. And then these like smaller studs. It's actually, I didn't really copy any particular design exactly. Because if you see most house builders, when they build a frame like this, they actually lay a foundation all along the ground, just a big slab of concrete. And then these go into that with big screws. But I didn't want to spend all that money because a big slab of concrete costs like a few $1,000s. And I was just kind of playing around, you know. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Just out here in the yard. Actually, the grass is looking pretty ugly. Let's give it a quick mow. Got an electric mower there, so I'll crank that out real quick and we get straight into it, alright? Alright, so that's it. Lithium powered 82 volt, 1.6 kilowatt peak output, I think, maybe nominal. 344 watt hour battery. It's a beast. How about this thing, huh? Have a look at that. Ah, no battery. Go grab a battery real quick. Found a battery. See, look, I got the matching blower as well. 82 volt. And yeah, I'll just grab this battery. They're pretty sticky. There we go. Chuck it in here. Bang. And we're off. Start her up. Now off we go. Have a look at that. Oh, the little cat. See the cat? Oh, I ran over my tomatoes. Squashed my tomatoes. How about that? It's got like some watermelon, tomato, and rock melon going out here. Hydroponically. I'll show you later. I've got a nice system out there. And I'm gonna do some more in here, in the greenhouse. Alright, nearly finished. One more little run. Oh, crashed. Oh no, a cutout. Oh no, guys, what do we do? What do we do, guys? A cutout. In all seriousness, this thing has been, I've had it for 5 years and it's never missed a beat. It's awesome. I love this thing. when I had my petrol mower, it wasn't just about mowing the lawn, it was about petrol, cleaning the carburetor, fiddling with the spark plug, changing the spark plug. Mowing the lawn was secondary to the whole operation. But now it's just like playing with a toy almost. You just press a button and go. It always starts up. Never fails. It's got plenty of power too. It's basically the same as my petrol mower. Basically the same. I'd say there's no difference at all. Actually, this might even be better in some scenarios where the 0 RPM torque becomes a factor. You know, when you're really starting to bog down, it can actually be better. And that's a little solar setup. Just playing around, you know. It's actually powering the garden right there. Might not be wired in right now, but that one solar panel can provide plenty of power for this whole hydroponic setup. So it can run, you know, off the grid basically. And with hydroponics, you can get up to 8 times the yield compared to putting it in the soil. So it's good for like maximizing production in a small space. And I actually built this greenhouse right here. I built it from scratch. There was just a bunch of dirt there before. There was just a and I've got some interesting stories actually relating to the EUC. As you can see, I brought the Sherman out here to keep this an EUC video, you know, but also because it's got a speaker, so got portable music there. And yeah, so I built this from scratch. I had to carry all this, see all those rocks? That's 3.5 tons of rocks. I got it dropped off in my driveway and I carried it with a wheelbarrow. But with these long, so you can see it's made up of, it's basically a house type frame. I watched some videos on YouTube and just kind of copied the technique. And these long pieces here, see there, from here, see they start there, and it's one long piece. It goes all the way to the end. Those pieces are 4.8 or 5.4 meters. I think 4.8, so that's like 15 feet. It wouldn't fit in my van at all. I tried and it couldn't fit without sticking way out the window. And you've seen my van in my last video, it's pretty big. You know, probably a standard van, but lots of space back there. You could probably fit 300 EUCs in there. Yet I couldn't carry those long pieces of wood. There's only, in this whole build, there's only 4 of those long pieces. Every other piece could fit in my van, but those 4 long pieces couldn't. And all I could do was get it delivered in a truck, you know? So I thought, why not try carrying them on the EUC? So I used the 16X, just carried one at a time. 4 trips, easy, done. And that just goes to show how useful the EUC is. In that case, it had more utility than a van. A 3,000-pound vehicle with 4 wheels and a giant engine. Thousands of moving parts. This little tiny wheel in a box with 1 moving part, size of a briefcase, outdid it in that case. So I found that pretty amazing. Wasn't that hard either, they're not that heavy. Just had to kind of hold them in the middle so they'd balance. It was a bit weird going past people. I went slow whenever I went near anyone. But when there was no one there, I actually managed to accelerate to like top speed on the 16X. Holding one of those pieces. Pretty crazy. Doesn't affect the EUC at all. And so you can see the gutter here. I'll put that up as well, and I'm gonna, I didn't give up on this, but I got bored of it. But I'm gonna get back into it, and so I'm gonna put like system here where it feeds into a rainwater tank. So all the rainwater on the top, on the roof there, you can see. I'll give you a good top view now. So I put that roof up myself as well, the whole thing. And so all the water that collects from up there will drain down through this gutter into a rainwater tank, and I'm going to use that water to grow strawberries in here. And so you can see I've got this double French door here. A bit sticky, isn't it? And yeah, so you can see a bunch of stuff in here. But so what I'm doing here, this is going to be another hydroponic system. It's called nutrient film technique, and each one of these holes is going to be a site for strawberries to grow in, up there as well, as you can see. But there's going to be many more of these, so they're going to run all the way down to the ground and then in parallel across here. So ideally I'd fill this whole thing up with these tubes, and that would just be full of hydroponic strawberries growing in winter as well, because I'll be able to keep the warmth in. And you can see up there I've got the lights, so I'm going to have the whole thing covered in lights so it can grow in winter. Have artificial lighting. When the sun goes down early, I can keep the lights on so they keep growing nicely. So yeah, pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, because when I started I had no idea where it was going. You know, I just started by buying like a few pieces of lumber and like, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing really. I didn't know what I was going to do with the ground. So each one of these has its own sort of foundation. Each one of these main sort of studs, as they call them, and then these like smaller studs. It's actually, I didn't really copy any particular design exactly, because if you see most house builders, when they build a frame like this, they actually lay a foundation all along the ground, just a big slab of concrete, and then these go into that with big screws. But I didn't want to spend all that money, because a big slab of concrete costs like a few $1,000s, and I was just kind of playing around, you know. I didn't want to invest all that. So what I ended up doing is just laying a mini foundation for each of these main studs. So each of these big ones, these are 4x4s, and all these other ones are 2x4s. So all the 4x4 lumber has its own foundation, just a mini one, so I didn't have to use so much concrete. I got away with like $100 worth of concrete instead of 3,000 or something. So I like the way it turned out. Saved a lot of work, or maybe not, because I had to do other kind of work, sort of like leveling it all out, you know, because when I had laid one, I had to lay the other one and make sure it was perfectly in line, and there was a lot of like messing around. But I didn't have to lay a big slab of concrete, so I saved all that work. And that's about it. When I have it done, I'll show you guys again. I will have these big fans for ventilation, and maybe some, I don't know actually, we'll see where it goes.